Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the Chilihead community, by the Chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing episode here tonight. Thank y'all so much for, being there Christmas Eve. Now you're rocking and rolling with me the day after Christmas. I appreciate all of y'all so much, but we have an amazing sauce on Hot or Not. We have an amazing guest locked and loaded, as well as a very fun game. So episode 64 starts now. Hello, Swear Nation. So glad to have everyone here. Back again, day after Christmas. Thank y'all so much for being a part of this. If this is your first time checking out the show, thank you so much for being here. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcast, thank you so much for being here and making this podcast what it is. We have on deck tonight an amazing hot sauce from a hot sauce maker that I had the pleasure to meet out at Pepperpalooza while there in October. So looking forward to diving into this sauce here tonight. And we have an amazing guest that is locked and loaded, ready to go. Andrew from Headstone Hot Sauce. We'll be diving into everything to do with Headstone Hot Sauce. We have also brought in Keep 5, Cut 5 for the game tonight. If it's your first time checking that one out, you're in for a treat. But as you know, fire off in the comments and let us know if you would have played the game differently. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. All right, hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. Man, we have an amazing sauce here on deck. This is one that I had the pleasure of picking up in person from the maker himself while at Pepperpalooza. So definitely excited for this one. This sauce here tonight is Smoke and Embers. This is from Make It Happen Hot Sauce. I mean, absolutely digging the labeling, digging the color scheme. Great color to this sauce. Nice overall body. I mean, it's got a nice medium consistency. Kind of almost getting closer to the thick side, but definitely a nice medium consistency here. Got some seeds, got some pepper bits. It looks like a little bit of charring. I mean, it's called Smoke and Embers. It definitely looks like there might be something smoked in there. So looking forward to that. Let's get you a nice close-up here of what that looks like. Man, as you can see, love the overall graphics on this. It's just very nice visual appeal, great color to the sauce. It has that dark red hue, and as you can see there, the black specks are what is reminiscent of a nice smoked ingredient. So we shall see what this one's all about. Let's go ahead and open this one up here. It does have a perforation pull string, if you will, to open it. All right, so here we go. Man, right off the bat, amazing smoky notes, almost like a smoky onion, but also kind of smells a little bit reminiscent of like a smoky bacon, which is interesting. I don't know if there's any in there, but from that smell, it's that overall smell that I'm picking up. Let's get this one out here, get a nice pour going. If this is your first time checking out the show or new to Hot or Not in general, I don't do things the same. I don't do a 1 out of 10. I do 1 out of 5 based off of 5 categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, and burn. And give them averaged up, and that's our total swear word rating from there. There we go. Oh, yeah. Let's figure out what's going on. The overall consistency on this sauce I thought was a nice medium, which, I mean, it does have a nice flow once it gets going. It is definitely a thicker consistency sauce. No worries there. It's actually a very ideal situation to be in when you're talking about lathering it on to sandwiches, burgers, pizzas, etc., tacos, anything that would tend to have sauce roll if it's too thin. This is that perfect grab to really hold on tight and deliver a solid sauce the whole way through. So definitely looking forward to this, but here we go. Wow. Wow. Savory, super savory. Nice deep body on this sauce. Then the garlic notes come through, a little bit of onion. Tastes like maybe some herbs of some sort. Can't really pinpoint that one, but the smoky nature is very noticeable the whole way through. Overall, phenomenal body to this sauce. The pepper comes in towards the end. Almost tastes like a Chipotle-esque on there. So interested to see what that is. As well as it has almost like a habanero sting slash overall burn to this one. So interested to find out that. But let's go ahead and talk through the rest of this. If you are just starting out, you're just, breaking into the hot sauce game, starting to build that tolerance, this is definitely going to be one that is an absolute flavor bomb. As you can still hear, I'm salivating like crazy. But if you're just starting out, moderation is key and really kind of easing into it. But this is definitely going to be a very tasty sauce. If you are, pushing yourself, you're always trying to grow your tolerance and enjoy that ride that you get from, really pushing your body. This is going to be a nice medium sauce for you for sure. I mean, this could easily be a everyday type of sauce with that nice heat level. It is one that you could go wild with if your tolerance is way up high, or it's one that you could use to start pushing and growing that tolerance if you're, relatively new to starting things out. But love what's going on there. Versatility. Let's talk about that one. It's going to be pretty versatile. I would be able to use it on just about anything. The only thing I would exclude it from is going to be desserts, because it's not really geared towards there's a dessert sauce anyways. So no worries there. But the burn on this one, the burn is actually a little bit more than the initial heat. So this one, initial heat, it's the front of the lips, the front of the gums, and really kind of goes quickly back to the back of the mouth. Now, the way it sits afterwards for the burn really kind of just isolates itself to the back of the throat. And then it just kind of parks there, continues to smolder, and just keeps radiating, kind of like a pulsing, smoldering burn. So nothing in the front of the mouth, nothing in the I guess the lower portion of the throat. It's just the back. Nothing in the chest, nothing in the stomach. All in all, phenomenal flavor, great sauce from Make It Happen Hot Sauce. All right, let's read off some ingredients here from Smoke and Embers. All right, so here we go. First off, ingredients are mesquite grilled Fresnos, habanero peppers, serranos, onions, roasted garlic, apple cider vinegar. There it is. Chipotle peppers and adobo, cumin, oregano, smoked paprika, salt, and pepper. Absolutely love this sauce. The smoky natures that are coming through here are very clean and pure tasting. You're not getting that artificial smoke. That chipotle is super noticeable throughout here. It gives it that depth, that smoky, sweet, but also just earthy depth to this sauce. That habanero sting is extremely prevalent and noticeable throughout this. Very well executed. And that oregano, I knew that there was something that was a little bit of an herby taste. Wasn't quite certain what it was, That definitely makes perfect sense. Says here, the company statement is, for years I wanted to craft my own hot sauce. My family would always tell me to make it happen. So I did. This hot sauce is made with precision, flavor, and the perfect amount of heat for everyone to enjoy. It is crafted with quality ingredients to pair well with gumbo, jambalaya, tacos, fajitas, grilled chicken, and more. From my family to yours, enjoy. Make it happen hot sauce. This is Smoking Embers. Absolutely phenomenal sauce. Very well done here, Marco, on this sauce. It's an absolute honor to have tried it, and definitely looking forward to continuing to use this sauce. It is absolutely tasty. I'm gonna take you up on some of those suggestions there of the gumbo and jambalaya, the others as well, but those in particular stood out to me. So, but let's go ahead and read off the scores for the hot sauce. So for Smoke and Embers, we have heat coming in at 3.5, aroma at 3.75, flavor of a 4.4, versatility of a 4, and a burn of 3.6 for a total swear word rating of 3.85. Absolutely amazing sauce. Smoke and Embers from Make It Happen Hot Sauce. Another amazing hot sauce. I'll have the links for it down below of where you can pick it up and how you can get your hands on. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the interview. Hey, Andrew, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Brandon?
Man, I am doing good. It's an honor to have you here. Absolutely excited. Had the
Thank
pleasure of
you.
meeting you in person at North Texas Hot Sauce Fest, and
Yep.
immediately fell in love with not only your sauce but the overall art appeal that is on the labeling, on the shirt,
Thank you.
that you had rocking there, and
Hmm.
just very eye appealing and very grabbing in both a visual and in the sauce realm. So excited to
Thank
dive
you
in
so
and get to know you
much.
a little bit better. What got you into the world of spice? Like what was your initial entry into the world of spice like? And then what
Okay.
motivated you to start creating sauce?
Yeah. Okay. So walking it way back, I helped my dad grow peppers in the garden, just jalapenos, serranos, things like that. So they've kind of always been part of my diet. Um, Personally speaking, I have an appreciation for um, painful things, harsh things. So you put the two together, it's just kind of a hand in glove, hand in
Absolutely.
bullet and glove. Um, what led me to start making them was there's a few avenues in. But primarily, habaneros are probably my favorite pepper. I got it in my head 6-ish years ago. I wanted to find a habanero sauce that was just habaneros, not mango, not whatever. Um, Failed a few attempts and decided, fuck it, I'll make it. So, indignation, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Now, and that kind of you started to answer it. So just to make sure that I'm keeping track and understanding as well. Your inspiration and motivation
Okay.
for creation of sauces is really derived around uh, your own outlook as far as like what you think is missing in the market, or just something that you really want to see, if you will.
So yeah, any type of creative realm that I've been involved in, that's actually kind of what I try to do. Take a look at what's there, and figure out what's missing, the thing that I like, the thing that kind of suits my particular taste, my personal taste, um, and then do what I can to fill that gap.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, I mean, I know that when we were there, and definitely sparked up the conversation about your overall shirt. And then I noticed that obviously the shirt was also a lot of the same graphics that are on the same graphic styling, we'll put it that way, as to what's on the labels of your sauce. Share with us a little bit about where did this art piece come from? How did you
Mhm.
start using it? What was the
Okay.
motivation on that?
So it's actually a uh, combined work of two different artists. So I have the guy I use for calligraphy, Josh Yell, up in Rhode Island. Found his work when I was looking for a logo, and just thought that his penmanship was phenomenal. So I contacted him, got the logo done for back when I was still cottage. But the idea behind, start that over, when when the business made the mental transition from this is just a hobby that I'm doing to make sauce for me and my friends, to this is going to be a business, and I started working to toward that goal. Um, One artist came to mind, Benjamin Vierling. He is fantastic. I've been following his work for 20 years or so. Um, but just immediately, that was the style, the kind of somber, morose tones of his work, like in the color choices that he uses and kind of the hidden little aspects, like the inclusion of insects or whatnot. Um, it was just kind of a no-brainer on my part. So um, I made it to commercial and contacted him, just kind of shot in the dark. I didn't actually expect to get a response. He does his own gallery stuff and books, book covers, and album work for some bands. But yeah, he got back to me pretty quick, and we made it happen. It was money well spent. It was time well spent. And again, phenomenal artist.
Yeah, no, definitely. For all of those that are actually, I probably could go back over to the shirt here in a second, but
Yeah.
for everyone that's curious as far as what we're discussing and talking about, here is a good visual of what the labeling looks like. And very very well detailed. Like there's so many things. It's one of those labels that oftentimes you can pick up a product and you can take about 10 15 seconds, quick glance over, and you get a great idea of what's going on, and you're just like, all right, so I've seen that. But as to where this one, you can actually stare at, you will start to continue to find other little things that are otherwise on that initial glance you wouldn't have noticed. So very in depth on the overall labeling here. It is its own art piece on the side of this bottle here. So absolutely amazing. Love what's going on
Yeah.
with it. How did you come to the name Headstone Hot Sauce?
Um, that is kind of tapering down a lifelong interest in the morbid and the moribund. Um, so it kind of is a fortunate coincidence that the boutique hot sauce world has a built-in tolerance for death and skulls and devils, things like that. Um, so I just kind of worked with it. I mean, didn't go. I was trying to find the happy medium between something that would be boring to me and then something that would be too abrasive to the the average customer base. So
Okay.
Headstone was kind of the middle ground.
Okay. No, I definitely see that, and I mean, you have some amazing art as well, like right behind you, right here. So I would assume that you like to, whether you're collecting art, I don't know, but you like to actually go out and take a look at art, and do you go to any like
Yeah.
showings or anything of that nature, or like what?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Contemporary Art Museum here in Houston, or the Museum of Fine Arts. The Contemporary Art Museum is free. You just go down on a Sunday afternoon, whatever, when you got nothing else to do. The Museum of Fine Arts, I could lose hours, days in that place just staring at pieces. A lot of the permanent galleries there are, you can see them 100 times and still go and sit and just look at a painting that's hundreds of years old and find something new and get lost in another little section that you didn't focus on the last time. So yeah, art is very important to me. It always has been. I may not be the most educated. I can't like just throw names out and talk about this particular artist does this particular style, this period, whatever. But I'm at I'm at least an appreciator,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I was just about to say, you don't have to be a scholar of art in order to really appreciate it, and I think that that's exactly what you were, getting at on that. So, I definitely agree with you there. Now, are you an artist yourself? Do you like to dabble in certain media?
I try. Um, in that world, I'm totally self-taught. So this behind me is an unfinished piece that's been unfinished for 4 years now, and I'm just content to let it sit. The actual thing, looking at it, is um, it's unnerving in a way because of its unfinished state that I have decided that I like, and it's just how it's going to stay. Um, that being said, I can handle my own when I need to, but I am very hard on myself in everything I do. So there's a level of dissatisfaction of no, you didn't quite make it. You didn't quite make it. Um, that I didn't want to encounter with doing Headstone. I want this to be a complete project or a complete what's the word I'm looking for? A complete manifestation of what I've got in my head, and I'm perfectly happy to bring in people who have spent their lives dedicated to their craft.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense to do it and to view it that way. The I'm to drive those, I guess, to tie those two together. Your Whenever you're enjoying these sauces, do you oftentimes, while you're doing the R&D side of things, if you will, do you find yourself diving deep into, say, either some music, or do you like to surround yourself with art at that point and to really kind of get those creative juices going? How does that end up playing out for you?
So it is, I guess I could say that that part more of um, takes more place in the psychic front. That's all just if I find like if I find myself um, with access to a sufficient amount of a pepper that I haven't encountered before, I love getting a few pounds and doing a small batch first. One thing that I like to do, even with stuff that I've been doing for years, is before I start a batch, I'll take one of the raw peppers, just the pods, and eat the pod, just to kind of remind myself of here's the notes you're going to be bringing out. Here's what you like about this pepper. Here's what you want the product to be. And it just from that, it kind of starts a cascade in my mind where I see, all right, this is how I want the profile to be. This is how I want the color scheme for the bottle. This is um, the description that I want to use, which I don't know if that kind of ties into the whole package that I've got going on. The descriptions on the side, I wonder if I wonder how people receive them sometimes, just because they can be a little esoteric is too strong a word, but kind of obfuscated in their wording. I like to try to describe through funerary terms the experience of the sauce. So what you're reading when you read the side of the bottle is you're walking through uh, the tasting.
Yeah, no, I was trying to see if I could pull up one if you were watching on the screen. I was trying to pull up the side. Doesn't seem that there's one on your
Yep.
website
One
here
side.
to pull up, but yeah, no, I mean that makes perfect sense. You're not just using the hot sauce as its intended vessel, if you will. It is now a becoming a piece of art. You're using not only the label itself visually draw you in, but you're also picking up, the exactly what you were saying, the wording on the side of it to break down exactly the experience that they would be undergoing while enjoying your sauce. And it really just it carries forward, and it shows that there's a level of passion and care put into each and every bottle that you make. So now the as far as what you have out right now, so
Mhm.
to I guess we'll pull back up the website. Um, you have what four, or is it five sauces currently in the lineup?
Right now online I have five.
Okay,
So my core lineup four, and then the Naga, which is seasonal only because I can get the peppers once a year.
got it. Now, do you end up growing yourself, or do you source that from other local growers? What does that look like for you?
When I very first started, I was growing the peppers, but this has expanded to needing 150 pounds of whatever pepper per batch. I have that much yard in Houston, so I can tell you which I do better between farm and make hot sauce. So no, I have a couple distributors, but for the Nagas, I use Hill Country hot peppers. Ron and David they grow fine pepper.
Absolutely. They ended up providing quite a bit of the peppers that were out there at that North Texas Hot Sauce Fest
Yeah,
pepper
yeah.
competition. That was an absolute
Sent
blast
somebody.
to help put on, and Goot was the one that set it all up, and that
Hmm.
pepper competition was his baby, if you will, and it
Yeah,
was a blast to just be able to co-MC it. So. No, they definitely Hill County ends up growing some amazing peppers. So, yeah, that definitely makes sense to reach out to them. They're local, quality stuff, and I'm sure
oh
that it's
yeah,
a quick turnaround to get it from where they are to you in Houston. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
definitely
Wimberley
seems like
is
smart.
is fortunate enough that it's dropping in UPS one day and the next it's there. So
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Can't go wrong with that. Okay,
no way.
now as far as you have the five online, one of them seasonal. Is that
Mhm.
kind of what you tend to gravitate around? Is the addition of, say, a seasonal sauce, or is this more something that you're just really testing out other sauces occasionally, and then if they stick, they stay?
So kind of a little of column A, a little of column B. So for example, I was doing two seasonals. I was doing a summer seasonal and a winter seasonal just for what my schedule allows me. The summer seasonal was hot pickle, but every time I ran out of hot pickle, which was frequently, people complained loudly enough that I heard and was like, all right, we're just gonna bite the bullet and keep that one in stock year round. The Chipotle is still the winter seasonal. That one is pretty damn close to being ready to bottle. So that's probably what I'll be doing week after Christmas. Um, and I mean, I can't complain about the way it sells, but the hot pickle is people love that one.
Yeah, no, that definitely the pickle craze, if you will, is one that I mean I definitely enjoy having pickles in my food or whatever, even on their own. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm not your average, like, I'm gonna just go seek out everything pickle. But it
Yeah,
is insane to me the amount of I guess community around that is out
dude,
there. It is that
it's
they're their
wild.
own wild breed whenever it comes to the hot pickle or the pickle in general enthusiast. I mean, I've had some pretty strange flavors, but then I look online or see something pop up in a feed where it's a combination I would have never thought would have been
Yep.
a great duo, if you will. So it's pretty intense. As far as I guess as far as that goes, have you heard anyone? Has anyone shared with you, really something that they like to use that hot pickle sauce on that was, I guess, a little bit eye opening or shocking to hear?
Um, the not shocking, not eye-opening, curious. The the most curious that I've heard is people say that they like to put it on pickles, which I by no means am against pickles. I like pickles, hey,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't put pickle hot sauce on pickles. I'm not. I can't say that I sink to those briny depths.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, to me, I mean, then again, I have not tried that, but to me,
Hmm.
it seems like a little bit of a miss to be using a pickle hot sauce on something that already has, yeah, a pickle in this sense that already has the flavor of the pickle.
Hmm.
You think it would be best served to put a non-pickled flavor hot sauce on the actual pickle itself because you're already getting the pickle taste,
Right.
but you know.
Hey, to each their own. I mean, if it improves upon the pickle that they're eating, I will stick that as a feather in my cap.
Absolutely. No, that definitely makes sense. Now, as far as your own personal use for hot sauces, do you tend to just gravitate to one of yours as your common everyday go to, or is there a different sauce that tends to be that main staple, if you will?
So the main that is the habanero forever and always. I don't think that I will ever find one that will fully replace that, but I do have kind of a rotating second place. Right now, it's the Naga. The Naga is uh, delicious. Love it. But it everything kind of gets its turn in the second place spot. But habanero is it's always there for me. Like I said, favorite peppers. Just I've planted my feet. I will die on that hill.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the Naga is an absolute favorite for I feel like most in the sense of
Mhm.
being able to have that great body to overall pepper and also deliver a very
Yeah.
nice, very respectable heat throughout.
Hmm.
I if just really kind of thinking that through, I definitely love habanero, and I think, and I've talked about this before, but I think the readily available nature to it and the consistency of flavor and expectations of heat across the board, it's definitely one of those arguably top contender peppers for just that sound nature and ease and availability aspect.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
the Naga, the Ghost family as a whole is just one of those that really is hard to compete against because of how amazing they end up cranking out. Not only, I mean, they make
Yeah,
phenomenal as fresh.
absolutely.
They're great as dried. They're great into sauces.
Hmm.
It's a very solid option regardless of what avenue you're trying to take that pepper.
Yeah. My actual, for whatever this is worth, my favorite way to use a ghost pepper is lemonade. Get some basil, a ghost pepper, and make some fresh lemonade. Delicious. Let it sit, let it steep for a couple hours. It gets that kind of uh, the basil mixed in with the that kind of unique ghost um, berryishness. It's great. Great way to tear your stomach up on a hot day.
Oh, absolutely. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, yeah.
I love a spicy lemonade. Actually, that's probably one of my guilty pleasures is
All
really
right, right
getting
on.
a nice. So I don't like this overly sweet lemonades. I'm much more of the
Yeah.
variety of I like that tartness and that very
Hmm.
strong pop that goes through there. And then so the same thing. I like to dial it up the heat. Normally, my go-to for that is Every once in a while I will put hot sauce in there and I'll give it a good stir.
Hmm.
But my common go-to is tincture in my lemonades because it just
Oh,
obviously you can put a lot less and achieve a lot higher of a heat source, but
yeah,
it is so tasty.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
definitely. Basically, what you had just described there, as far as that lemonade that you really like to have and
Hmm.
make, I've done a very similar one, except for I really like the idea of like blueberries and blackberries and stuff like that.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
had
yeah.
one where basically I'll just crush, kind of pulverize a whole bunch of blueberries and drop those in there. Oh my gosh, it is so good.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
every so often you'll get that pulpy bit of the blueberry, and it's kind of like a little treat. I mean, some people they'll do the boba teas, and they go for the boba
Hmm.
at the bottom, and this is basically like my version of that in a lemonade, and it's just I
Nature's tapioca.
yeah, it's so good. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that solid choice right there. If you haven't
Yeah,
tried
sounds
that,
good. I'll have to try it next summer.
yeah, okay. The overall breakdown between what you have out currently, as far as your intended future sauces, are you already in the works on anything new that should be coming out soon, or
Not really. That I leave that horizon intentionally blank. I kind of tend to be a little bit of a creature of impulse, creatively speaking. I will be totally fine and set in my ways until ping, the genius of an idea hits me, and it's like I have to drop everything I'm doing and pursue that. And that's kind of how I've learned to operate. It's what suits me. I mean, I don't drop the things I've got going on, but if everything is in a part in its machinations where the process is set, I just let the process continue while all of my uh, mental energy is spent on the new thing, the shiny new thing. But I don't really have a whole lot of misgivings of making the next, great combination of flavors. I don't, that's not really what I go for. It's not really the thing that I could do. So you're probably not going to see a whole lot of hot pickles or a lot of mixing and matching and coming up with novel things. It's not really where I find my interest. I like the idea of just basically condensing the peppers, putting those in the bottle, and letting them stand or fall on their own merit.
okay? No, I mean that there's definitely. I mean, obviously, having your outlook and your path nailed down and stay into it is the most important thing. I feel like it comes out far too often where somebody will just kind of chase down, a sauce or a product in general that they constantly hear, "Hey, it would be great to see this. Hey, it would be great to it would
Yeah.
see this," right? And sure, it's one thing to act on it and try to make that product the way that you've kind of been told or heard that it would be, great to see, but if your heart and passion really isn't behind that sauce and really kind of dialing it in, it almost kind of feels that same void of just falling on deaf ears almost, but in
Hmm.
a sauce form or in a spicy product like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can always throw something together, but the amount of care that goes into the different sauces that you make, it definitely is the main thing that makes or breaks, it feels like, for any kind of product.
Totally. It becomes a passionless endeavor,
Yep.
and things that don't feel like I'm not 100% into them, or the creator, if I'm observing, is not 100% into it. Um, I pick up on it, and once I get a whiff of that blood, it's over.
Yep. Yep. No, definitely. And that makes, that right there is the thing that makes or breaks, it feels like, with a lot of these products, is just, the same thing can be said whenever you're having a conversation. Perfect example. You're going through one of the different art galleries, and you have some of those people that are there because someone invited them, or they may be slightly interested in what's going on, but it's more something to pass the
Hmm.
time, and you just see them zip through,
Yeah, looky
and
loos.
it's almost as if they're there to challenge to see how fast can I get through this here, versus the
Right.
ones that are taking their time. They're looking at each piece. They're diving in a little bit deeper. They're trying to gain a better perspective of what was going on at the time that either the painting or whatever was done, and
Hmm.
gain insight in that way. So
Yeah.
no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you're labeling the art, everything that we've kind of just touched on and really talked about. A lot of this screams to me that you might be a metalhead as well. I am, so I was definitely wanting to dive a little bit into that as well.
Right on.
Is that very fair to go ahead and
Yeah,
assume?
I have been I was actually thinking about this the other day. I have been into or involved with metal longer than I haven't, which is a weird milestone. I mean, I hit that marker a couple of years back, but I guess the the trudge of age has only been hitting me recently.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm finding myself reflective on little things like that, little details of my life like that. But yes, very fair to say. I've been into it so long I don't really remember not being. Um, but yeah, so I'm hometown heroes imprecation. If y'all like death metal, you need to like imprecation.
All right.
Um, but yes, forget. Was there a second part to that
Oh no,
question, or
I
was
mean,
I
I was
just
just, I guess a second question I could follow up with that is,
okay?
and
Follow
which
up,
I was
yeah.
already thinking, is there a certain type of genre in metal that you like more than another, or?
Yes. So my black little heart is pretty well evenly divided between Black Death and Doom metal. Um, I similar with everything. I'm real picky with what I like. So there's more stuff in each subgenre that I am impartial to rather than being like gung ho, this is the new thing. I'm gonna love this for a week and then throw it away because kind of like you're saying with the people trying to skate through a gallery and not, you know, take in all of the detail, the magnitude of what's been done.
Yep.
I like to, if an album's going to catch me, I'm going to listen to it for 2 years and maybe set it down for a couple weeks at a time. But I have a pretty set schedule of just going real deep into to figuring out every nuance of what is it that I like this, what is it that is um, causing this visceral reaction within me that draws me to it.
Yeah. No, that definitely, I could see where that would make sense, and I can see where the same thing, that passion that comes behind your music selection, really singing forward, and making sure that
Mhm.
what you're listening to and what you're dialing into, if you will, from a musical standpoint, is aligning exactly with what you want to hear. And I think that's a pretty fair assumption to think of it, is like,
Yeah, totally.
um, something that you're going to want to listen to for X amount of years is definitely, because I mean, and here we go. Here's the next part, I guess, really, to that, because I think
Okay.
this kind of leads into that pretty well. It's something I often hear, and I've had my own outlook on this as well. Not always, but a good amount of times. This has been the case. Do you find yourself listening to what would be considered more the underground type of music, or do you, on the flip side, I've heard from quite a few, and I've also done this as well in the past on a few bands, but whenever they really start to like hit it and make it something changes. It's not true to what they were. Do you find yourself doing that same?
So that depends entirely on the artist and the their integrity for however you want to define that. Integrity can change over time. Your artistic vision can change over time. I think it's unfair to say this is what you were 25 years ago. You are in that box, and if you dare deviate, I will cast you aside. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If they are if they are talented musicians, if they're talented songwriters, if they are writing something compelling, it doesn't matter really to me what they may morph into. If it's worthwhile, it's worthwhile. Now, that being said, I do certainly appreciate my stalwart bands who refuse stubbornly to change a damn thing and um, maybe not release the same album, but maintain the same intensity they started with throughout their career.
Yep. No, that yeah, I can definitely see that. Okay. Okay. Along the same lines of being hardcore, and the whole idea of heading down that metal scene, but tying it back to everything spicy, if you will.
Hmm.
Have you ever you've ate something that was just far too hot, or you got in way over your head? Do you often push yourself from a tolerance standpoint?
I do. I push my threshold for everything, frequently enough. As soon as the challenge isn't there anymore, and I become cognizant of that lack of stimulus,
Hmm.
I'll figure out what's next. So as far as eating peppers, my tolerance, truthfully speaking, comes up and down just as cell surface receptors replace on my tongue and in my GI tract. So if I go like, a couple weeks without having anything super hot, something like the Naga may kick my ass. And I will grasp onto that and like, this is fun. Let's run it through the muck until it's no longer, trouncing me.
Yep.
And then at which point I'll find something else. Um, but yeah, is that
Yeah, yeah,
I
no,
can
that
further
hit it
expound.
perfectly. Yeah, well, I mean, knowing kind of what we've already discussed, and knowing that the world of spice is all, once you get bit by that bug, you're always pushing your tolerance up as high as you can, and you're really
Yeah,
kind of starting to challenge yourself. And I feel like also with a
right.
lot of what we already discussed, that would already be something built in, one of those nature, not nurture moments. It is a
Hmm.
part of your nature to continue to push yourself and put yourself in for lack of a better term, uncomfortable situations that
Yeah.
force you to grow and adapt. So, all right, no,
So
that's very
from
cool.
from my own personal lived experience in that, I would argue my family personally, it's kind of a little of both. We all have the nature where we tend to err on um, it's never bad enough. Uh, but then that innate idea is definitely nurtured. So um, complacence is not something that's ever been tolerated and certainly not rewarded in my family.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then two, also to have that same outlook with the idea of being an entrepreneur, and you're really it's all up to you. It's either you're doing it or it's not
Yeah.
getting done.
Yep.
So that makes sense as well, that you would have that same outlook and perspective. So
Right.
very
If
cool.
you're not bleeding, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
saying.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Now, is this your full time? Is this what you do full time?
Yeah, so Headstone is 40 hours on top of 40 hours, which really is 40 plus hours on top of 40 plus hours.
Yep.
I stay between the two, between this and my day job, and then, home and life in general, or trying to have a life in general. I stay pretty on the go.
Yep. I can only imagine. I mean, this is another reason why I asked that is the overall sauce creation is not a short or quick process by any standard. And then obviously, you're doing it right. And when you're doing it right, there's things that you have to do that you can't just cut corners on. And so it that right there is a taxing both in time, mental load, and physical energy right there just to
Oh,
do that.
totally,
So
man.
to be able to balance that on top of already working a different job as well is got to be a battle. Is that something, do you bottle all this yourself, or do you end
I
up
do, yeah.
bringing in
So
family, or how does that?
no, it's all me by my little lonesome self. And I have, people, family who offer to help, but I'm not in a spot just yet where I'd be comfortable relenting some of that control. Um, and I mean, there's a level of pride. I enjoy in some sick fashion leaving work to go directly to the kitchen and staying there till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning when I have to go, be back at work at 7:30, whatever. There's some sort of I don't know. It's going back to the whole pushing yourself. It's just a constant pushing myself, see what I'm capable of, I guess. I mean, you never really know uh, how strong you are if you've never had to fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very well said right there. Um,
Thank you.
Definitely agree with that. All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the game. All right, here we go. We have keep five, cut five. This is how this one goes. There is, five keeps and five cuts. Best way to go about this is alternate either a keep or a cut, however you would like to start, but just keep alternating it through. Occasionally, we will dig a little bit deeper on it, but wanted to, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and read these off for all those that are just audio listening. So let me go ahead and we will get into this. So the very first one here, you'll see there's like people on some other shoulders, etc. This is it to represent a concert, so like a music event. The next one's going to be art. That's what that one just resembles, right? Then you have
Mhm.
beer. We have summer here because it's starting to get cold here, and now people that are starting to get cold, they're missing summer. So maybe that's something you keep. Maybe that's something you cut. I don't know. We'll find out. And then we have
Out of here.
fall. We have fall right here, and then we have football, hockey, tacos, hot wings, and then Texas. So
Okay.
quite the eclectic
So,
group of things. But where would you like to
yeah,
start?
the smattering. I will just start in the top left corner and work my way down
All right.
or across and then down. So we're going to keep music, we're going to keep concert events, we are
All
going to
right.
keep art,
All right.
we are definitely keeping beer.
All right. I'm liking it.
The seasons, I'm going to say we're going to cut just because where I live, it's just a perpetual iteration of summer.
Yep. Absolutely agree.
Um, yeah. Football and hockey, I can live without, so nix those.
All right. Do you have a preferred sport to watch, or do you not watch sports at all?
I'm not real big into sports, but if I had to pick one, I would say boxing. Two people in the ring just knocking the shit out of each other to see which one is better. I like that aspect about it.
Yeah. Unless you watch that Jake Paul,
That
fight,
was that
that
was
was a
I did
joke and a
watch it.
charade.
Yeah, I was not real impressed. I was not real happy, but
Yep.
whatever. You get what you get, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna keep tacos.
All right.
Uh, Hot wings, I'm going to say, see you later. Nothing against you, but how can I not keep Texas?
Yep. I knew that deliberately that meant one, at least one keep was off the boards by having Texas
Hmm.
on there. So really
Right.
only, freeing you up for four other choices. And,
Right, right. Lest you accuse me publicly of treason.
hey, you gotta sometimes throw in some that
Right,
are
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
honorary keeps and really make
Yep.
that choice hard on what you're going to get rid of. But
Hmm.
okay, very nice. I like the lineup here. I can definitely get down with that. The I think everything that you picked is about what I would do. I think I could probably sub out one of those keeps for hockey. That's really the
Hmm.
only sport that I'll watch or keep up with, and
Yeah.
it's only because it's the most amazing sport that you can ever go to. Because
Okay.
you could buy a cold drink at the very beginning of the event, and it'll be the same temperature at the end of the game if you were to never touch it.
Yeah.
So
That, and I mean, it's kind of a, you know, you could make the argument that it's somewhat a combination of football and boxing.
yeah, yeah, it's the only professional sport that still allows a fist fight to break out in. So there's that. I mean, there's also it's probably one of the most hardcore sports
Sure.
because I mean I've literally been there at a game, watched a player have a heart attack, hit the ice, get back up, gain consciousness, get back up, and then basically fight to get back in, and they end up having to bring him to the locker room. It was like that's some dedication right there.
Trying to die on the ice.
Yep, man, it's a
Right
wild
on. I can
sport.
get behind that.
Yeah. We'll start with a nugget of knowledge. So, this is something that you would share with either, you can view this as either share with yourself that you wish you would have known ahead of time, but really it's intended for those individuals that are, breaking into the space of making spicy products in general.
Um, if your product is not your favorite, you're doing it wrong. Um, it should beat out everything else. Not to say that there's not a whole lot of talent, a whole lot of good manufacturers out there, but if yours isn't your favorite, you're doing it wrong. Um, and then, second, just from my own personal experience, if you are in a position to go through all the rigmarole of becoming a commercial manufacturer, do that as quickly as you can.
Very well said. Very well said. And great nuggets for all of those that are out there thinking about breaking into the space, or maybe you've been dabbling with it at home and you're just trying to figure out if going to the next step is right. Definitely make sure you have your heart and soul in what you're doing and that you believe in that product. And
Oh yeah,
if you
totally.
can, then definitely roll it forward. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And then the next thing is the hot seat nomination. So this is someone that you
Hmm.
think would make a great guest for the show.
Well, the immediate person to come to mind is my buddy Lauren with Hardcore Hot Sauce. It's a fantastic product, and I will be the first to admit that none of my line, if you like heat, if you're chasing that specifically, I don't really have anything that's really that hot. I mean, it'll provide enough to sate you, but sometimes you just want to kill yourself. Um, Lauren will tread those waters. So fantastic product, love his stuff.
All right. Hey, Lauren, I'll be setting up a time to have you on. Definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much for that nomination. Now, do you have anything else you want to share with all those that are listening and watching?
Other than if you're already a customer, thank you so much. I would not be anywhere close. I would still just be in my home kitchen if it wasn't for y'all. So thank you. Um, and if you're not, you can find me at flavormortis.com. That's also the handle for my Instagram.
All right. Well, It's been an honor having you on. Definitely looking forward to diving in deeper and carrying on the conversation. There's still so much more we can break into. But Andrew,
Yeah.
it's been an honor having you here, and thank you so much.
Mr. Swear, thank you.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute honor having you on here and learning more about Headstone Hot Sauces. Definitely amazing to see the drive, the passion, the direction that you have behind each and one of your sauces. Looking forward to having those featured here on Hot or Not and having you back on as well. So, hey, if you enjoyed the product here from Hot or Not tonight, from Make It Happen Hot Sauce, that was Smoke and Embers. I'll have the direct link for it down below, exactly how you can pick up your own bottle, and absolute amazing sauce for you to check out as well. Thank y'all so much for being here, rocking and rolling with me. I hope everyone had a great Christmas, great time to be able to be with friends and family and just share an amazing time. And hopefully you got to share the love of capsaicin and hot sauce with everyone else in your family and lighten them up on Christmas. But hey, could not do this without podvision.io. Thank you so much. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all your needs. And we have opened up sponsorships for the swear word during 2025. So reach out on socials, get that ball rolling, or you can head on over to www.theswearword.net. Episode 64 is in the books. Don't forget to check in for brand new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday night. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.